Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Today we're carrying on exploring my pen collection. I thought we'd take a look today at my collection, or part of my collection, of Demonstrator pens. Here we go, there's 5 of the pens here which we're going to take a look at. So join me now down on the table and let's explore these pens. Welcome down to the table. So my Demonstrator pens, my transparent pens, I really like these. I love seeing that ink sloshing around. The first one, this is a Jinhao pen. This is a Jinhao 82. The shape very, very similar to what we see with a Sailor Pro Gear Slim. Steel nibbed. As you can see, this is a converter pen. We've got there the converter inside. You can see that, one of the beauties of this. Just going to take off the barrel. I know we can see the workings. It's metal fittings, which is a shame because if it had been plastic fittings, I could have potentially eyedroppered it. It is a small pen, as you can see here, quite small in my hand when it's unposted. If I post it, it does feel a little bit better, a little bit more length to it. It's still nice, and that the section, that's fairly thin. We've got a fairly small nib on here. Got a 2-tone nib. I do like 2-tone nibs. I like the fact that the section's transparent as well, so you can see a bit of the ink in there. So we've got here a Jinhao 82. The nib on this is a medium. The price for this pen is $6 Aussie. Very inexpensive pen, very affordable pen. The ink by Diamine, and it's Tempest. Quite a nice looking ink this. Drying times, there's immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. Still smudging a bit there after a minute, so it's a fairly wet combo. Let's do our Wasky Squirrel grid. So here's going up and down. Although this is labelled a medium nib, to me it writes on the fine side of medium. So it could be because it's essentially a copy of that Sailor Pro Gear Slim. Maybe it's using a Japanese style label there for that. But the nib, it actually writes really well. And I do like this dark ink. I think it looks really nice. I think here, not sure if the camera catches it, got a bit there of like a gold sheen there coming through. Very nice. So that's the Jinhao 82. So quite nice. We're staying with Chinese pens. We're going to look this time at a PenBBS pen. This is the PenBBS 494. This one is a piston filling pen. You see here the piston mechanism. There's quite a lot of ink in there, so I'm just going like this. Hopefully you see that. Just going to turn this around so you can have a good look at it. This is a very light pen. A bit longer than what we saw with that Prera. Just take the cap off. There you can see got a bit more length in there. It does make it quite nice. You can post it. It posts really well. Because it's so light, it doesn't feel back heavy. But to me, it just feels too long. The section, very thin. Again, it's a transparent section, goes with the rest of it. And as I say, there's a load of ink in here, but you can see that air bubble there. So you can see a little bit of that sloshing around. As this empties out, I love seeing the ink sloshing around in this pen. So we've got a PenBBS 494. This has got a fine nib. This is what I was saying about the nib width on that Jinhao 82. The line I'm seeing from both of these looks virtually identical to me. Price for this pen is $8 Aussie. That's right, $8 Aussie, and you're getting a piston filling pen. The ink by Diamine, and it's ash. So a nice grey coloured ink there. Drying times, there's immediate, 10 seconds, Almost dry there. 30 seconds. Still got a tiny little bit of a smudge. Let's do belt and braces 1 minute. After a minute there, that's nice and dry. We'll do our grid. So again, filling in nice. You can see there that this is that fine nib there on there. So I've got quite a fine line going down, but it's coming out nicely. It's a nice pen, just too light for me, which is why I don't use it as often as I should. So that's the PenBBS 494. Just going to move the page up. There we go. The next pen, we're going to have a pop of colour with our transparent pen. We're going to the TWSBI Eco. And the pop of colour, this one is the green version. So we've got this nice transparent green as well. But the main part, the body, that's still transparent. I always think of the Eco as like a tube because it's just round, it's a plastic tube. It's a piston filling pen. You can see there the mechanism. The mechanism takes up roughly half the body, so you do lose that ink capacity there, but it doesn't matter because it's got a really good ink capacity anyway. It's hard to see in here. This ink is very, very dark. This is about half full. I do like my TWSBI Ecos, and as I say, it's got this nice green. I like my green pens as well. The section on this, again, it's transparent and it is slightly wider, so it's a little bit more comfortable than the previous two pens. Lengthwise is not bad. It will post, but where it posts, it's just onto here. There's a little O-ring, but I always worry that I'm going to work the mechanism, so I don't bother posting it. It's got another small nib. This is what I was saying with the 494. This, with the 494, the nibs look roughly the same size. So I may, at some stage, try putting a TWSBI nib onto that 494 just to have a little bit of a play around. I don't know. I may not. We'll have to see how it goes. But other than that, it's a lovely pen. As I say, I've got a number of Ecos. So we got here a TWSBI Eco. It's got a 1.1 stub nib on it. Now this nib is very, very soft and bouncy. It's a pleasure to write with. We do take a jump in price. So we're up now to 59 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Diamine and it's Black Ivy. This is a very dark green colour. We'll wait for it to dry a bit, then let's see what we can see in terms of colouring. Drying times, there's immediate. You can see the green coming out there. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. And finally, 1 minute. Still smudging a lot. This is a very wet combo. We'll do our grid. So there's up and down, side to side, and a grid there, and then diagonals. In here you can see what I like about a stub nib. I'm just going to do it just to the side, just for ease of clarity. So this is going down, this is going across. So you're getting that different natural line width, which does come out in the writing. Now this pen at the moment, I'm just going to go down here, is what I use for my page titles. So you can see here we've got Demonstrator pens, and that's written with this pen. So let's move this back up. Got room there for the last two pens. Let's just bring it down a little teeny bit. So this was the TWSBI Eco. Next up, we're going to take a jump over to Japan. Let's get that a little bit more central. And here we've got the Pilot Prera. Now you can see in here, one of the beauties, this is a shimmer ink. As you can see there, the gold shimmer. So as we're talking, I'm going to start agitating this, just so we can get that shimmer all nicely into suspension. You know, I might even, let's tap it a little bit, see if that helps. You can see here, you can see that ink there flowing around. I love seeing it. Still got loads of that shimmer there too. Let me try being a little bit more violent with it. Anyway, it's a small pen. It's a pocket-sized pen. Just going to fetch in that TWSBI Eco so you can see them side by side. Massive difference there in size. Cap pulls off. Unposted, we've got very small pen. This one, as I say, it's a pocket pen designed really to be used posted. Once I've posted it, we've got a nice length to it. This is another one where it's a cartridge converter, but what I've done, I've actually eyedroppered it. I've got a little bit of silicone grease around the threads, and then all I did using a blunt nose syringe is I filled this with ink. Section, again transparent so we can see the workings there. You see a little bit of that silver there in there. Let me try and get a better focus for you. Again, it's a small nib. This is a pilot nib. That just doesn't want to come out of there. Hopefully though there's enough that we can see it when we do our writing. One other thing I'm going to point out with this cap, inside the cap there's a cap liner which helps to stop the pen from drying out. So we've got here a Pilot Prera with a medium Japanese nib. The cost for this pen, 76 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Diamine and it's Tranquility. Although I said it's a shimmer, it's not, it's a chameleon ink, but that's just smaller particles really. Drying times, there's immediate, 10 seconds. Really used the wrong finger, but it's still smudging there. 30 seconds. And 1 minute. After a minute there, that's nice and dry. Let's do our grid. As you can see, I'm doing this unposted, so it is usable unposted. Then we're going across. Diagonal. Oh, we've done it the wrong one. Never mind. We get the idea. Because this is a pull-off cap, I will be honest, I never put this in my pocket. I always use it in a pen case. I'm just worried if, when I go to try and take this out, that I pull the end of this off and end up with a nice inky stain in my trouser pocket. But yeah, for what it is, it works well. $76, bit expensive for me. I would, to be honest, get a Kaweco Sport over this. But it's still nice. It's a nice experiment. There are a number of different nibs available, so I may try a different nib size in this. But it's not too bad. So that's a Pilot Prera. My final pen. This is the TWSBI Diamond 580. So here we can see some of that gold again. This is the same ink as what I've got in the Prera. This is a bit bigger than the Eco. Let me fetch in the Eco. You could say it's the big brother or the big sister. Piston filling pen. We've got a longer barrel so that piston mechanism doesn't take up as much space. It takes up maybe a third of it. On the barrel, as I turn this, unlike the Eco, which was like a tube, here we've got facets, so hopefully you can see them catching the light. Just adds a little bit of visual interest to the pen. The cap screws off, gives us the section. The section again feels a little bit wider. This is a really nice, comfortable pen to use. Very nice to hold. we've got here the nib. I'm going to fetch in the Eco again. I'm only doing that because these are 2 pens from the same manufacturer. So there is a little bit of a difference there in the nibs. Let me pop that Eco to one side again. But other than that, yeah, it's a really nice looking pen. Hopefully we've got all that gold there into suspension. So we've got a TWSBI Diamond 580 with a broad nib. This is a broad European sized nib. Look at the difference between the Japanese medium and this. The ink, I'd say it's exactly the same. It's Diamine Tranquility. Just going to give it a little bit of a shake again. Drying times, so there's immediate. Make sure I get the right finger. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. 1 minute. After a minute there, that's nice and dry. Oh, I forgot to put the price. I don't know. The price for this is 95 Aussie dollars. So let's do our grid. So up and down, side to side. I do like the base colour of this. It's nice. Although it's a pink, I'm not normally a pink person, but this is actually quite interesting. It's got a bit more purple to it as well. And then, there we go. So here we've got that TWSBI Diamond 580. Let's just take a closer look at these two to see if we can see any of that chameleon. So in the first one, the Pilot Prera, loads and loads of that gold there coming through. You can see it in virtually every letter of my writing and a load of it in the grid. I'm hoping that the camera's catching this. With the 580, I actually don't see as much of that gold chameleon. There is some there, you definitely know it's there, but certainly nowhere near the amount as I see with the Pilot Prera. But that's still quite interesting. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. My final test, I'm going to write a sentence with each of the pens. When I'm writing the sentence, I'm going to move the mic down to the page so you can hear the pen writing. So we start with the Jinhao 82. Oh, that's so nice. There's quite a bit of feedback. I like feedback in my pen. There's audible feedback. There's tactile feedback. I can feel this pen going over the paper. Now, this is Ayush paper. There is a little bit of texture to it. It's also 100 GSM paper. I love this paper. Really, really nice. Next pen is the PenBBS 494. Again, lots of audible feedback. The nib feels a lot smoother. So to me, it's all right, but I'd prefer that Jinhao 82 over that one. TWSBI Eco. As you can see, loads of natural line variation in that. Again, very nice pen to write with, very enjoyable. Up next, let's just give it a quick agitation as I'm talking. We've got the Pilot Prera. So I'm going to post this. With this one, there's a bit of stiffness to the nib. It's quite nice to write with. Again, hopefully you can hear the audibleness coming through. And as I say, the nib felt stiff. It was still nice though. It was a nice tactileness to it. I think that's best. It was hard to describe this one because it's tactile, but it's like heading towards that pencil type tactileness. Finally, the TWSBI Diamond 580. Again, let me just give this a little bit of agitation just to get that gold there into suspension. So let's go for this one. There's a softness in this nib which I didn't feel with the two Chinese pens or with the Prera. The Eco as well, it's got a really bouncy feel to the nib. And I like that bounciness, I like that softness. To me, I like tactileness, and certainly this has got tactileness in spades. So that's the TWSBI Diamond 580. Again, let's just have a quick look. With the Prera, we're seeing absolutely loads and loads of that chameleon, whereas with the TWSBI, we're actually not seeing as much. And the first line, we can see there, hopefully the camera's catching it, we've got that nice gold there in that as well. So let's take one final look at the pens. So today's pens, we've got the Jinhao 82, we've got the PenBBS 494, the TWSBI Eco, the Pilot Prera, let me just straighten that up, there we are, the Pilot Prera, and the TWSBI Diamond 580. So of these 5 pens, which one would I choose as my winning pen? Dead easy. It's the TWSBI Diamond 580. Just a beautiful shape, a beautiful size, a nice weight, beautiful nib, writes really well. Handles shimmer, handles chameleon inks, really nice. It would actually be closely followed by the Eco, so TWSBI certainly in this selection coming out on top. So these are my thoughts on some of my Demonstrator pens. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What do you think about Demonstrator pens? I love them. I love seeing that ink sloshing around. Please drop any comments down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.